What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel for Webflow Pros. In my last video, Z0 asked if we could do a tutorial on how to use Anime.js in your Webflow project, so we'll cover an introduction to using that today. If you've ever looked into Anime.js, it has a lot of options like staggering. You can do SVG morphing or line drawing. For this tutorial, we're going to cover how to stagger your animation, set up an initial state, and also tweak that animation inside of Webflow. So my first tutorial on Anime.js used sort of letter animations, and I'll link that video in the description below. Let's go ahead and copy that code though from that tutorial to get started, and we'll paste it inside our closing body tag section. So if you remember from the previous tutorial, if we want to do a scroll into view on something, we need to give that an ID. And I'll just give this an ID of scroll in, and then we need to basically create classes that we can use from the Anime.js. So like in Anime.js, there's one called Fadeup. So we can use that class and just apply it here, fade-up. And then we also, if we're doing letter animations and want to break up each letter one by one, we'll throw on a class of tricks, just a global class there. And then that's basically going to split each letter one by one into individual spans. So we can go ahead and test that out. If we're just going to set this up real quick, we'll have this scroll into view animation. It's going to target the ID of scroll in, and we're going to grab our fadeup.play. That plays our animation, and then this is animations targeting the letters inside of our class in Webflow. That's called fade-up. Let's go ahead and just publish it and test it out, and we can see what we have. So I'll start by answering a couple common questions I had from the previous tutorial. The first is that when we scroll into view, you'll notice like a lot of times the letters stay at full opacity and then they snap to 0 opacity and fade up. So we get a little bit of a jump there. If we were to turn the opacity of this entire block down, we'll just never see the animation. That's because the animation's fading up each letter inside this block, not the whole block itself. So if we want to set initial states, what we're going to have to do is do that using CSS. So if we copy all our style tag, and I'll paste that in the head just to stay organized. And then what I'm going to do is actually target that class we created in Webflow of fade-up. And then we want to target the letters inside that class. So we'll use the class letter. And then we want to set its opacity to 0. And what that's basically going to do is just make the letter start off at an opacity of 0. And then when our Anime.js animation comes into place, it's going to fade those letters up from 0 to 100% opacity. Now there's a couple other things we can do too. This first 300 is 300 milliseconds. That's the delay before the entire animation starts. So if we want this animation to start sooner when we scroll in, we can change this to something like 50. And then this second number here, 30, is how long of a space we have in between each letter animating. So how much stagger do we want? In this case, I'll change that to something like 45, so we should see this animation start to last longer. Another thing you might have noticed on the live site is once we scroll into view, the animation plays, but if we scroll back out and scroll back in, it only plays once. It doesn't trigger every time. So if we want this to trigger every time, we can copy this line of play and then just replace that with the word restart. And that's just going to mean the first time it'll play it, the second time it'll restart it. So we'll see that animation happen every time. So we can go ahead, save and publish this. And then let's go back over to the live site with the changes we just made, refresh. So now when I scroll into view, you'll notice that those letters were hidden at first and then they faded up. So we don't get any sort of glitch. Now if I scroll out and scroll back in, the same thing happens again. So that animation is sort of playing each time. And you'll notice the space in between each letter animating takes longer now. So we're increasing the length of those staggers. So we don't have to use this animation just on letters. We can use it on even a whole word, which that was another request I got from the previous video. So if we look in our custom code, what you'll notice is that it's breaking up each of the letters with a class of letter, but it's breaking up each of the words with a class of tricks word. So all we had to do is go inside our animation, and instead of targeting the letters inside our fade-up class, let's just target the words. So we'll replace that class letter with the class of tricks word, all one word like that. And then in here, we want to use basically Tricks word to be inline block. And then for Fadeup dot letter, we want to change Tricks word to have the opacity of 0, our initial state, since that's what we're animating now. From 0 to 100 is the actual word, not the letters inside that word. So let's go ahead and save. Actually, before we do that, let's also increase the time. Since we're animating entire words now instead of letters, let's create like 150 for the stagger in between each word. And then we can go ahead and save and publish that, and let's just test it out. So let's come back over here, and now you'll notice we have a nice clean break between each one of the words, one after the other. So we can use this staggering also on cards, and I did a tutorial before on how to create staggering with Webflow interactions and a bit of custom code, but I've been leaning more towards this Anime.js for staggering lately just because it's a lot cleaner. So all we have to do is copy this class of our items. So we want each one of these cards to fade up one after the other. All we have to do is copy that class, and then we'll have to create another animation. So if we copy this entire fade up animation that we created, and then come back over here, I'll call this one fade up cards, and then I'll change the name of the animation in both places, that's important, to fade up cards. And then the thing we want to target in this animation isn't the fade up word anymore. We actually just want to target one class, which is the video item, so the card itself. And then we also need to play that. And for now, I'll just make this a scroll into view also. So I'll copy this play and restart. And I'm going to change the name of the animation I'm targeting to fade up cards in this second instance. And let's go ahead and just publish that and see what we have going on. So we come back to our site and refresh. You notice each card faded up one after the other. Now maybe we want that to take a bit longer, and maybe we want it to start a little bit after the letter animation started. All we have to do is increase sort of the stagger right here, and let's increase the delay to 100 right here. And then we can also tweak sort of the animation itself. So right now you see it's being translated Y. That means it's pushing the card down by 100 and the animation's moving it back up to 0. If we wanted the cards to slide in from the side, all we'd have to do is switch this to translate X instead of translate Y, and now they'll slide in from the side. So let's go ahead and publish that, and we can come back over to our live site and refresh. So now you see each card sort of slid over from the side. Now you did notice the cards started at 100% opacity again. So again, we need to set initial states for these cards. So if I copy that video item class and come back over to my CSS in here, I can basically set those to have an opacity of 0 as well. That way we're just sort of not going to see that glitch. Another thing I may want to do, like what if we wanted each one of the words to sort of rotate in? So they're sliding up right now, but what if we also wanted them to rotate in? Well, you can also look at some of these other letter animations that we had in here, and you can just copy code from some of these. So I'm noticing a lot of them are using opacities and translates, but there's also like rotate here that we could use. So if I go ahead and copy that rotate, and then I come back over to my code, and then we can go over to our first animation, which is this fade up. I'll just paste in a rotate, and I don't need it to rotate 180 degrees. Maybe something like 65 degrees though would be fine. Let's just go ahead and see how that looks though when we're rotating the word. So let's publish and refresh. You see each one of the words are sort of being rotated from the center. So we can choose the anchor point of where we want those words to be rotated from pretty easily. All we had to do is grab sort of our class. So if I drag in a div, we have a class in our code called tricks word. I can change its transform position to anchor its origin to the top left, and now it'll sort of rotate from that corner for us. So if we publish and refresh, and then we can go back over to our live page, now you'll see it's a bit more subtle. It's not as drastic, and it looks a little bit better too because each word is being rotated from that top corner. and then these cards are sliding in that way. So this whole example really just used scroll into view, so these animations are really playing whenever we scroll down. But you don't have to just use that trigger. There's a bunch of different triggers you can use in here, like on click or hover in, hover out, all right here. So if I were to just copy all of my animations, delete them from our scroll in, and then decide to do them on click, for instance, and maybe we target this on click of the body. Not quite sure why we'd want to do that, but let's just say for this example we do. So then I come back over to my live site, refresh, and then nothing's happening when I scroll down, but if I click anywhere on the body, then this animation plays. So you can do that on click of maybe a hamburger icon. You want each one of your nav links to fade in one after the other. You can stagger things even on page load. So if you don't even want a trigger, all we have to do is copy all our triggers and remove them from these on click and on scroll into view animations and paste them outside of that, and then they're just going to happen as soon as the page loads. So we can use that to stagger anything. Like say we want to stagger these links one after the other. All I'd have to do is grab their class, which they're in the class of nav link, and then all I'd have to do is come over here and basically create an animation for them. Maybe I'll call this, instead of Fadeup cards, we can call this one Fadeup links, and then we'll just rename our class, our animations right here, Fadeup links, Fadeup links. Class we want to target is this nav link, and you see it gets really easy to create a lot of unique stagger animations, different kinds of animations in here. Just using some of these properties. So maybe I'll delay it a bit, like I don't know, maybe we'll delay it by like 400 because, or 300, since we have that page load animation. And then I'll just create a, and also on, if we're doing this on page load, we don't need the restarts anymore because it's only going to happen once. So those are kind of unnecessary there. And then we can just create our Fadeup links. And then now, whenever I load up the page, each of the nav links should stagger in one after the other. So refresh, and there they go. They sort of staggered in. It did happen kind of fast, and it happened a little too soon because my page transition was still happening. So I would probably have to tweak that a little bit. Maybe the amount of delay, just for it to be safe, I'll maybe do the delay to like 600 for now, so you can see it. And then instead of translating X, we can go back to translating Y, and then we can move it. That's still fine, 100 to 0. So let's go ahead and publish that, and let's test it out and see what we got. All right, on page load, and then they stagger in one after the other. Cool. I might make them go the opposite direction and make them stagger in a little bit faster, but you sort of get the idea. You can stagger in any one of these things on page load, click, hover, scroll into view, and you can tweak those animations to do whatever you'd like, just like Webflow interactions, basically. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.